Be confident in what you are and who you are and what you're about. I think once you lose confidence, you start losing yourself and losing your way.
How do you know you're not quitting 5 minutes before the miracle begins?
10 things I'm grateful for every single day. 30 minutes to 1 hour of personal development a day. That's usually audio.
All right. Well, you know what? I probably should have started off with like a really inspirational quote after all those quotes, but I don't have one, except that, you know, this is going to be an awesome program. We're super excited about it, and I am personally, because I really need that shot to get, you know, re-engaged in my path to success, especially after the COVID. So I'm really excited about this. So I want to welcome everyone to the NWIIWA Empowerment Series. This is a great program today. They're going to talk about, they have 7 principles to help you with success and for you to push through. And we're going to actually do one of those principles today during the program. But let me start off with some exciting stuff. They're going to have prizes. Yep, they're going to have prizes, and you can get this, you know, great little, or not great, it's a great Yeti drinkware, yum, right? There's no drinks in there yet though. And they're gonna be giving away their combo pack, the push through, their book, and their push through journal as well. So there'll be 2 chances to win today. So stay tuned. You don't need to purchase their books or anything else to do today's program. We're providing you free copies of the worksheets for one of their principles within today's program. If everyone would take down their cameras, because we are recording this, and make certain that you're on mute. So no puppies barking in the background or kids talking or anything else. Let's mute, take down our cameras, and we'll be good to go. This program will be recorded, and we will put it on our YouTube channel on the a couple days after this program airs. It will be on our YouTube channel. At the end of this program, there'll be a quick survey. I'm saying this will take you no more than 10 seconds. Please take the survey. It really, really helps us. So this program is brought to you by NWIIWA. NWIIWA is the leading group in our region for the professional development of women in their careers. And we focus on providing opportunities for professional growth and networking and leadership support through education and just a bunch of other events. We have great NWIIWA partners that partner with us throughout the year that help make these programs possible. And they are Franciscan Health, Ivy Tech, Horizon Bank, and Sage Popovich. So thank you to our partners who partner us throughout the year. So for more information about becoming a member or for partnering, you just go to NWIIWA.org. So I'd like to do a quick intro, and then we're going to get right into our program. So I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Carey Yukich. She is a successful financial planner and business owner of TrueWealth Advising Group with her husband, John. As a former collegiate volleyball player, Carey uses the parallels of what works on the court to what works in the conference room to help others achieve success. And then my new friend, Holly Woods, Holly Woods Gray actually is the CEO of Women of Wealth and a managing partner, a managing vice president of Appreciation Financial. She runs an insurance agency of over 100 agents, many of whom are women. Her and her husband, Bobby, reside in Southern California with their 8-year-old son, Jackson. The three of them are most eager to celebrate the reopening of Disneyland soon. So Carey is up here in Northwest Indiana, and Holly is in Southern Florida. And with that, ladies, thank you so much and welcome, and the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Andrea, so much. And thank you for Northwest Indiana Influential Women. We are so excited to be here. And we are honored to be with inspiring, empowering, and amazing women in Northwest Indiana and beyond. And I'm going to go ahead and get started by asking a question. And that is, when you see or hear the words push through, what comes to your mind? Certainly feel free throughout the presentation to share in the chat. Some of you may have overcome significant adversity, maybe gone through a difficult time. We all have with the pandemic, right? But think back to times you might have had to stand up for yourself or other people in a variety of different situations. Maybe you've been in a tough relationship or had a difficult boss. Maybe some abuse or harassment was involved. Maybe you recall helping a loved one overcome a health challenge. Or maybe you're going after and accomplish something you have never done. And that is what we're here to talk about today. For me, I have several examples of times in my life when I have had to push through. Now, I grew up in a very small Midwestern town. Actually, 2 villages had to come together to form my high school. And I had a difficult situation living with extended family in a very small cottage home near in Michigan. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And there was a substantial amount of trauma in our family due to poverty and abuse, physical, mental, and emotional abuse. So I didn't have a lot of examples of what it takes to push through. But athletics and sports and many different outlets were examples and things that I used to build on that to help me, and our hope is to help you as well discover what it takes to push through barriers from your past or things that you're going after now, right? We mentioned a few things. Could be a promotion, could be a big presentation, right? It could be a variety of things. We shared some stories in the pages of Push Through, and we interviewed some incredible people. Today, Holly's gonna share some stories about how to feel the fear and do it anyway. We're going to challenge you to overcome odds and tap into that healthy inner beast in you. So ask yourself, from listening to what we're talking about today, what can you learn and how can you apply it in your life? There's a lot of common threads that hold us all together. This is our time. Let's go out there and take it. Holly, I'm going to hand things over to you.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Carey. That was just a great tee up. Feel the fear and do it anyway. So there's a quote here on the screen. If you want something different, you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done before. And so Carey had mentioned earlier in the tee up that we had several people interviewed in our book. One of those people interviewed was Sandra Yancey. She is the CEO of eWomen Network, and I'm actually sitting in her office today. I'm feeling the fear and doing it anyway today. Actually, I'm taking one of those things that I've never done before. I've never gone to a studio and filmed a professional video, so I get to do that today. And so I really just reflecting on this quote, you know, it's really just a way for us to look at what stops us from getting what we want. The definition of fear is where our limiting beliefs and something we've never done before intersect. And so I'm going to share some stories today about that. And first I want to share about a song by Zach Williams. It's called Fear is a Liar. And so some of those limiting beliefs are in this song. It says, when he told you you're not good enough or worthy, when he told you you're not right, when he told you you're not strong enough to put up a good fight, when he told you you're not worthy, when he told you you're not loved, when he told you you're not beautiful or you'll never be enough. Those are things that our mind tells us, you know, we're not smart enough, we're unlovable or unlikable. Maybe you have a big change coming up in your life and you're fearful of that. Or maybe it's standing up for a group or for yourself. So I really want to take you guys back to a time in my life where I had to really face the fear of standing up for myself and for another group. A couple years ago, so as Andrea mentioned, I am a managing vice president with Appreciation Financial. So a couple years ago, I was at our home office in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I was there for a meeting. However, my meeting was the next day, so I flew in a day early, and I was hanging out with our legal counsel, who happens to be a female as well. And there was a meeting going on in the boardroom, and we have glass on the boardroom so you can see in. And unlucky for them, it was all men in the room. And there was 12 of them. So I asked Logan, our legal counsel, I said, what's going on? She said, oh, that's the executive leadership team meeting. And I'm like, who put this committee together? Like, who put this team together? And why isn't Brett there? And why isn't there any women in the room? And so you may or may not know that the financial and insurance industries are pretty pale, male, and stale. At Appreciation Financial, we're definitely a company that is different. We're very diverse. However, this meeting had a lot of pale and male in the room. And so Brett, one of my business partners, he happens to be a Black man, and we have a lot of diversity in our company. And Brett represents that. And he wasn't in the room, and there wasn't one woman in the room. So I didn't have my meeting until the next day. So the next day, just imagine that festering overnight and just being in a place where, okay, I know I need to stand up for what's going on. Because for 5 years, I had ran the women's group within our company. I was an advocate for the agents that were the female agents, and we had women of wealth, and that really stood for the women in our company being successful. And we had recently handed that back over to the corporate office to run. And so the person that I had to address, and this was part of facing my fears, was one of my best friend's husbands. He's high up in our company. He's a managing vice president, just like myself, and he runs a different area in the country. And so I really had to look at how I was going to address this. And ladies, I did. I stood up for myself. I stood up for diversity in our company, and I stood up for our group. And I'm proud to say that our CEO pulled me aside afterwards and said, you know what, we didn't notice this. This was a blind spot for us. And so for me, being able to illuminate that problem was something that I got an opportunity to do. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't as graceful as I would have liked it to be, because, you know, the whole night before, while I have my cohorts that are there, you know, our legal counsel and some of the other women that are high up in the company that I went out to dinner with the night before, I got them all on my side. Have you ever done that, where you've gotten everybody on your side? Gave me a little bit more confidence to stand up. And at the same time, I didn't take the opportunity to really think about what that was going to do for me professionally with the team. I was able to address that right away, which was facing another fear for me. You know, when you talk about somebody behind their back and then you have to face them the next day and tell them, whoops, I wasn't being a very good person by doing that. So, you know, that's a story of where I was able to really face my fears and do it anyway, to stand up not only for myself and also for the group. And for me, it was an opportunity for me to really take a look at how our story works. You know, there's been other times and other stories that have happened that really inspire me to be fierce. And a lot of it is around the athletics that I played. You know, playing sports really taught me how to stand up for what I believe in. In fact, I was able to ask my first coach for a scholarship. He needed a player and I felt I filled the role. And so I was able to ask for that scholarship. So I learned that asking for what I want definitely did pay off, and doesn't mean I don't still get fearful for it. So I hope that you have in mind some of those stories for yourself, that you are providing evidence that you can feel the fear and do it anyway. However, those limiting beliefs don't just go away. It takes practice and it takes support in order for you to be able to address those things and then really move forward. And so in the pages of our book, like Carey mentioned, we do cover a lot of different concepts. There's 7 primary concepts that we cover. And Carey's going to come back on and she's going to talk about how you can not only feel the fear and do it anyway, you can overcome those obstacles and overcome the odds. She has a great story and I can't wait for her to share it with you all.
Thank you, Holly. And you also left us hanging there. How did things turn out with your executive committee after you expressed your challenge?
Oh yeah, so good point. So my CEO pulled me aside and he said, don't worry, we're going to handle this. And then when we had our next meeting, the next quarter, we had 4 women in the committee and we did add Brett as well. So we have some more diversities, we have some women, and we have some people that really represent what our full sales force looks like and not just the pale and male.
Yay. To talk about the outcome, you know, what happened as a result of you facing your fear in that situation. And we're going to talk a lot about getting the results that you want. And I'm going to start with a challenge of what different strategies you can use. Holly and I are going to share things about our athletic lessons and experiences, but how they've helped us off the court. And overcoming the odds is something that a lot of us face. And really where this took shape for me was when I was coaching a young team of volleyball players who were all 15 or 16 years old. And this was just a few years ago, and this was girls from all over Northwest Indiana and the south suburbs of Chicago. And that year in particular was very hard because several of the top players and coaches in our volleyball club had broken off and gone to form their own club. And this was very disappointing, but a lot of the girls who tried out and made the team at our club were considered the underdogs. Really, they had not had things given to them easily. And throughout that whole season, even with the tryout that we had, it was imperative that we found those intangible qualities, things that you can't really measure on, with a stopwatch or a number of repetitions or how high they jump, etc. It was heart, right? Heart and fight and willing to do anything to try to help their team and not let their team down. So those are the qualities we were looking for. And we got these girls together, these underdogs, and we set a goal to make it to the USA Volleyball National Tournament in Texas. And I'm gonna come back to that here in just a little bit, because that's the symbol, that's one of the symbols we used to just articulate and all get on the same page as to what our goals were. Now that's a lofty goal, and something that at first, I don't know that these girls really believed that they could do. And from the very beginning of the season until the end, we kept repeating it. And we're going to talk about some of the strategies we used. So the season got going, and we're middle of the road in our league at best. And at the end of the conference season or power league, and for those of you who are athletes, that's like a conference pre-season or a regular season play, and now we're trying to get to the playoffs. And middle of the road at best was almost an impossible situation that we were having to overcome in order to qualify for the national tournament in Texas. So headed into that final weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we had to win 7 games in a row. Seven. And the teams that were seated ahead of us had to all beat up on one another in just the right way. To win 7 matches or games and to have everything fall into place was virtually impossible. And so at the beginning of that tournament, we turned to something we had done the entire season, something that we even brought in an expert, a mental health or mental and visualization coach. She helped us with the mental side of the game. And so much has been written and researches. In fact, there was an article in Forbes last year talking about the importance of mental preparation and getting yourself in the right mindset. You hear and read all about that. So at the beginning of that Power League day, we circled up as a team. And yeah, people were kind of giving us the stink eye and going, what in the world are these guys doing? It wasn't a part of the typical warm-up. We locked elbows and we stood in a circle. And we went through the same routine that our performance coach had shared with us. And that is deep breaths. Control your belly breathing and get into that right frame of mind. Focus, right? Get clear focus and almost shut off everything that's around you. And we did that typically 2 or 3 times. And our performance coach has taught me how to help them get into this frame of mind. Second, we would all take 1 step forward because we were stepping into our circle of confidence. And you may be asking, what exactly is the circle of confidence? Well, it was a collection of memories that each of the individuals had put in their own circle of confidence. Times in their life, from childhood to graduation to graduating from high school, from spending time with your best friend. For adults, for me, it also includes my wedding day when my grandmother was squeezing my cheeks, I have this amazing picture that brings that memory right back. And so the collection of memories of your most confident moments that you run through in your head, and you're stepping into that circle and you feel this incredible confidence. And this has all been practiced for months leading up to this. And the third step was vividly imagining what it actually would feel like if we had qualified for the national tournament. Vividly. We played it over and over and over again. And not only that, but the feeling. What did our bodies feel like? Our hearts racing. We're sweating. We're looking around trying to find our family members and hug each other and all of that. So the vivid imagination of the result that we wanted. And the research says that really your brain doesn't know the difference. And so you're training what it feels like and naturally working your way to go get it. And so what happened after that? Well, we went on that day, that Saturday, to win every one of our 4 matches. And the teams above us all beat up on each other in just the right way. So it looked like it was a little bit more possible. And then Sunday came, and we had to do 3 more. And again, we warmed up. Everybody's looking at us like, what are you doing, this visualization stuff? And we took the court and we won 3 more matches. It was crazy. I get goosebumps just thinking about it now. And quite honestly, I don't remember a lot of it. Because when you're in that frame of mind, it's just on autopilot. But guess what? We were in a tiebreaker. We got to 4th, and one of the teams in the top 4 had the exact same record and same points, everything. And because the national tournament bid was on the line, we had to play a playoff. So not only did we have to win 7 matches, and the teams above us had to win in just the right way, we had to play a tiebreaker. It was absolutely incredible. And like I said, I didn't remember much of it, but I do remember this picture. And we won the tiebreaker. In fact, it was 25-21. And it was a team that we had lost to several times throughout the year. And this picture, you can just see the celebration and the tears and the disbelief. And this is a lot what all of us had pictured for in our head over and over and over again. And this picture goes back to exactly, that's us at the national tournament in Texas, doing our symbol, that we had accomplished this incredible goal, overcome incredible odds. All of these girls could have quit ages ago, or given up, or said, you know, that's just too hard. Nobody can do that. Those other girls left. We're just underdogs. In some way, we were able to turn that around and achieve an incredible, incredible accomplishment. And I've gone back, and actually we rehashed a little bit with our performance coach about how are we and how were they using this visualization technique in their lives. And you can use it, and they said they did, to take tests, to overcome some conflict, maybe to share some sensitive information, give a presentation. Who knows what it can be? I know I and Holly used it today, just getting prepared and to be in a position to overcome whatever is standing in our way. We want to take you through an exercise and help you really feel what that feels like. Hopefully a little bit of it came to life with these young women and what they've overcome. And we'd like to help share that technique with you now. Holly, you had a little bit of insight here as well.
Yeah, so how many of you already practice meditation, visualization? Some people are good at it. You can drop it in the chat. Some people are good at it. Some people think they're not good at it. Some people are like, oh, I don't see anything whenever I meditate, or I'm not able to visualize. So I'm going to give you a little trick, and let's see if it works for you like it does for most people. All right. So first of all, if you're comfortable and you're not driving, close your eyes and picture your hands in front of you in like a cupping way. And if your eyes are still open, you can see that I'm cupping my hands. And I'm going to place a lemon in your hand. You're going to look at that lemon, smell that lemon, starting to smell like lemon, okay? Now I'm going to take the lemon away. I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to cut it into a bite-sized piece. Ooh, it's so ripe. It's juicy. The juice is just dropping off of my hands. It's so juicy. Now take that slice and put it in your mouth and get ready to bite down. Now, that is one way you can use visualization. So I don't know about you, however, my mouth started to water just like it would if I was taking a bite of a lemon. So Carey, why don't you teach them a little bit, or share a little bit about the breathing and how to really get into that visualization state.
Yeah, so when we would get in our huddle around on the side of the court, and I know some people in the chat are saying, it's hard for me. I've never done it before, or it feels weird, or I can't really do it. It takes practice, takes a lot of practice. But the first thing that's really important to do is to do some deep belly breathing. And I'm certainly not an expert at it. I have practiced and tried different things. But really your inhale is to fill up your belly and just relax. And a lot of times you can say that to yourself, relax. So stop for a minute, eyes open or closed, whichever way you want to do it, and do your belly breathing. Now, a lot of times I do it 3 times. Sometimes I have to do it more because I get distracted. So do as many as work for you. The second step is to create a list of very confident moments you've had in your life. Maybe it was an assignment or teamwork that you did. Maybe it was something like overcoming the odds, like we talked about it. Maybe it was getting in front of your church and singing and tying in to your spiritual and the congregation. Whatever that is for you, have a few lists of the things that are the most triumphant times in your life, and pay close attention to how your body is feeling. You should, oftentimes our shoulders are back, and if they're not, do it. Take the posture, feel the confidence, and step into your circle of confidence. The last step is to find a result of something in your life that's important to you that you are going after. For my 20-year-old daughter recently, it was an interview to get a job. For some of you, it could be to get a sale or a client or achieve a goal. Maybe go on a trip because you've done so well. It could be to help someone you care very deeply about through some difficult time. What is the result that you want? And vividly imagine with your eyes closed or open, and pay close attention to what that feels like. Heart racing, could be very strong and powerful, could feel fierce, could feel like you've made an impact or a difference in the lives of the people that you are helping. Whatever that is, vividly and rehearse that result that you want and the feeling that comes from it. And play that over and over and over again. And practice. If it's something that you need to do today, 2 or 3 times will work. If it's something that you're going for that's going to take you a week or a quarter, keep repeating, keep visualizing, keep practicing. Many of you may know Michael Phelps. He's the best swimmer in history. And his coach encouraged him to run the mental movie every day when he went to sleep and every day as he got up. So we encourage you to use this strategy. Use the journal and or the book to help you uncover that circle of confidence for yourself, the result that you're going after. And because within us, there is a warrior, someone who's able to fight and get what they want. Even when the obstacles seem unbearable, unleash your inner healthy beast. Face the fear. Look it in the eye and do it anyway. One of the ways we've found that we actually also put in the book is an amazing quote. And Holly, before I do that, I want to turn it over to you for your culmination of the breakdown before the breakthrough.
So one thing that happens when we're all set to go start out on a goal and get things moving forward and we feel relaxed, guess what happens? Life, right? Come right up against it sometimes. Sometimes it is the fear of doing it. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's our own emotions that stop us from getting what we want. And so if you can imagine those times where you've been really close to getting what you want, however, you're up against it. There's a wall there. So imagine this piece of paper is a wall. And right on the other side over here is all your goals, dreams, everything that you say you're wanting. And on this side, there's doubt, fear, everything that we've been talking about to this point, right? So the breakdown, and I saw this so clearly just recently. I've been working with a small group of people, 13 people. It's a coaching program that I'm coaching in. And one of the gals was so scared to state her goal that every time we asked her name's Kim, every time we asked Kim, what is it that you want? She would just start crying. And she even knew that she was in breakdown mode. She's like, I know it's going to be so great once I set that goal and once I go for it. It's just, I'm so afraid to say it out loud. And she was afraid to say it out loud because she knew the other 13 people in the room were going to hold her accountable to that. And so when she finally did break through, it was beautiful. And often the breakthrough is just as big as getting the goal is for a person. So if you are stuck in some area of your life and you're doing the meditation, you're facing your fear, and you still feel like for whatever reason, you're not getting to where you want to be, then make sure that you're really discovering what that breakdown moment is for you. For some people, it's emotional. For some people, it's physical. I used to suffer really badly with migraines. And I knew sometimes when I was having a migraine, it was because of the pressure that I had put on myself to get to the other side of whatever it was I was going through and breaking through. So whatever it is for you, discover what it is for yourself so you can identify when those breakthroughs are ready to happen for you. Because sometimes it's a major breakdown, like a relationship, or sometimes it's something small where it's just, you know, a promotion at work might not be small, might be big, it might be a huge promotion. However, it might be small, like, you know, updating your car, or, you know, going out on a date, whatever it might be. That might be a small thing for someone, or it could be a huge thing, right? Like if you've been single for, you know, 10 years and you were in a bad relationship and you really are nervous about this, you may need some support in getting through that breakthrough to really get to the other side. And we're going to talk more about that as well. So Carey, let's go ahead and put up the Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah. So what Holly's referring to is that sometimes, and even in the initial intro video, sometimes it's just a matter of just keep going, just keep trying. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's a magical formula. And sometimes all it means is just taking that step forward. I think Sandra said it perfect in her interview, is that her mother told her, how do you know it's not 5 minutes before the miracle happens? And this is an incredibly successful woman CEO running a multi-million-dollar company. But we found this quote by Theodore Roosevelt, and I modified it just a little bit. And it is called The Woman in the Arena. Read it along with me and keep this one, because I think it's so powerful. It's not the critic that counts, not the woman who wants or who points out how the strong woman stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred with dust and sweat and tears and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, and who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotion? Who spends herself in worthy causes? Who at the best, in the end, knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if she fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that her place shall never be with the cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. There's so much in that culmination of what Theodore Roosevelt was talking about, in that just keep going. Oftentimes, right on the other side of what's ever in your way, or what, even the burn in your muscles, in your heart, you're scared, right on the other side is the possibility. So we have a challenge for you. We will outline some techniques, some specific techniques that have worked for us. We've shared a few stories to try and build them or have them come to life. And there's several more stories by Olympic athletes, professional athletes, incredible CEOs of companies throughout the country. And their strategies may work for you. But how many of you have been to trainings and heard speakers and workshops or listened to podcasts and may not have taken that and applied it in your life? What our challenge for you today is, what will you commit to doing and do? Please remember the grit. And we challenge you to use grit. And here are the specifics.
So first up, we're going to talk about goals, goal setting. There is a study done years ago, and I'll go over this SMART technique in just a minute. There's a study done years ago. It's said to be done by Harvard Business School. And it's about writing down your goals and having a plan for attainment. So prior to graduation, it was determined that 84% of the entire class had set no goals at all. 84%, no goals. 13% of the class had set written goals. However, they did not have a concrete plan. Only 3% of the class, 3% of the class had both written goals and a concrete plan. And these are the results. So, out of 10 years later, this is 10 years later, they tracked these people for 10 years. Out of the 13% of the class that had set written goals with no concrete plan, they made twice as much money as the 84% that had no goals at all. However, here's the kicker. The 3% of the class that had both written goals and a plan were making 10 times the amount of the 97% in the class. So our challenge for you is to set SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable. Some people say risky, some people say reasonable. I say a little bit of both. You know, you can be risky and reasonable at the same time. And then a time frame. I know for myself, I have 30-day, 90-day, 6 months, annual goals, and I even have goals for 5 years from now on where I want my business to be. And they're written down. Share them with people, family, friends, teammates, children, and most importantly, accountability partners. And commit to achieving them. That final step is all about that plan that you have in place to get there. And don't be committed to how it looks. Sometimes you will have support from an unlikely source. Be open to receive that support from an accountability partner or from an unlikely source. And the other thing is get committed to what the goal is that you want, not necessarily how it looks in achieving it, because it can get messy. Next up is the reflection. And Carey had just mentioned that we had interviewed several successful people, including several CEOs. And what they all echoed and what we had already known, and that's why the journal is so important to us, is because weekly reflection is how your last week went and what you can do better for the next week. How can you improve? And so our journal is set up in that way for you to be able to journal daily about what you're completing and what you're getting done. And then every 7 days, you have a weekly reflection so you can look at what worked, what didn't work, and what can you do more, better, or different to improve your results.
And you should have been sent a link to a PDF of the 7 days of the journal. And like Holly mentioned, it's 7 days of some reflection about what you're grateful for and what you're committing to do and what your mindset will be that day. But the 7th day is this weekly reflection and with some prompts. You don't have to spend a long time. It's not hard, but it certainly sets your mindset. Third, imagine. Use the technique that we talked about today. Celebrate and step into your circle of confidence. Vividly imagine and rehearse the results that you want and the feeling. Mentally rehearse. And last but not least, we want you to challenge you all to help one another. Part of being in an organization like NWIIWA is to help others. Recognize when you see people in your family, your friends, colleagues, pushing through, overcoming things that previously had gotten in their way, roadblocks, obstacles, and let's teach each other, help give a nudge here or there, and share with the community that we're building here in Northwest Indiana as well as around the country. And that is be and use grit. There's so much more, but those are the things that we wanted to make sure to impart on you today. So what of those things will you commit to incorporating into your life?
So where to begin, you may ask yourself. This code right here will give you a way to connect with us. Push Through Your Ultimate Success Playbook and Companion Journal are available for the ebook and the audiobook for all e-readers and players. And if you notice in the chat, it looks like the link was put in there for the journal. So the 7-day journal, if you want to test it out, give it a test run before you purchase it, you certainly are able to do that. And you can find it all on Amazon as well. And this code right here, if you want to scan that, that'll also connect you with our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, as well as our Twitter account. Did I miss anything on that one, Carey?
No. Mm-mm.
And we really encourage you to join the Push Through movement. This is a movement that we see people sharing their wins, sharing their successes. You know, it's always, sometimes, especially I find this for women, I have a big team of women in my agency, and I find that women are really good at pushing through. We're not as good at celebrating ourselves when we achieve something. So this movement is really an opportunity for you to get on camera or share your story through, typing it out. Share a small video or some pictures of things that you've been able to push through and you've been able to achieve, so that we can support you in your success, and most of all, celebrate you when you have those wins. So we encourage you to go ahead.
I'm sorry, you never know when you might be that little nudge that somebody else needs.
Absolutely. Now, who's ready for a giveaway? Who likes free swag? So the first thing we're going to give away is we're going to give away a Push Through Yeti. So we have Allie, our assistant, coming on to spin the wheel.
Everybody's name that has been captured and entered into the drawing for today for the Push Through Yeti.
So everyone who is on the Zoom with us, if you're joining us from Facebook, then we will definitely comment on the link for our Facebook post. However, I'm not sure if Allie was able to capture all those. So Allie, can you unshare your screen and reshare it? It's very unclear on this side.
We're all gotten a little used to technical difficulties. Come on, right when we...
I think it's time for
yeah.
just building the suspense.
Just a drum roll, please.
I like Kat Ferguson's
We could just
already calling it out.
And Allie could just say, I won. I mean, I think that sounds fair to me.
All right. It doesn't look like it's working.
All right, Allie, why don't you spin it and tell us who won? Let it be me. Let it be me.
I apologize. It does not want to show me who won, but Kelly Dallas won.
Oh, well,
Hey,
you know what,
woo!
Kelly. Kelly, you won. Yay, you won the Yeti.
Yay, thank you.
So I think we're to the point where we have a little bit of time for some question and answer, right?
So with that, one of the things that I would like to ask is, you're both advocates of women finding their voice and speaking up, okay? So, maybe one of the goals is to find that courage to even be able to do so. How do you take those first steps to find the courage beyond just writing it down?
Well, I think it's really important that you have your support around you. that will give you honest feedback and help keep you accountable for what you say you want. I know for me, when I took that big risk to ask my CEO and the other leaders in the room why there weren't any women, I found my voice through the other women saying, yeah, why are there no women in the room? Like, what's going on here? We have plenty of female leaders and we need some representation in the room. The other thing that you can do to build your confidence is get really good at keeping your word. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. And that could be as simple as working out. Like, I'm going to work out tomorrow morning. The minute you don't work out tomorrow morning, you lose your confidence. And it's just the little things that chip away at our self-esteem that lower the confidence that we have.
I would add, Andrea, that practice. One of the challenging things for me is that I didn't know that what I was worried about or fearful of really didn't exist. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it certainly does. But if you practice and you try something small and then you do it, and even if you had great results, maybe it didn't go quite the way you wanted it to, but you learn from it. And then try a different way and keep practicing it. Like Holly said, also bouncing ideas off of each other certainly makes a big impact as well. And the last thing I would say is understanding what the consequences could be of not speaking up. And, you know, both Holly and I pushed through a lot because of our moms. And they didn't have a voice. And they didn't, well, and I can speak primarily about mine, did not speak up. So it's part of our influence to help you, encourage you, give you the courage, share in our community, privately or to the group, what it is specifically. And maybe something has worked for someone else that may work for you.
Perfect advice. You know, we're gonna wrap this up because I want to turn this back over to Allie really quick, which for her to get ready. I'm going to do my closing slides, and I'm going to make you guys listen to my closing slides before Allie gives the final gift. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. So everyone, get social with us. Follow us along on social media. We have a YouTube channel for our past programs, including the Lieutenant Governor, so they're all up there. So we'd like to see you on there. Let's see here. With that, what else is my closing remark says? And then, of course, this is really important. 10th Annual Influential Women of Northwest Indiana is September 30th of 2021. And Kelly Dallas is actually one of our alumni now. She is a past winner. As there are other past winners. So please make certain that you have this on your calendar and that you're looking at where you're going to purchase your tickets because it will sell out. Okay. And then our next program is with Stephanie White. She is Vanderbilt women's basketball coach, and she actually played for Purdue. She was one of the ones who won some big championship. She was a WNBA coach as well. So we're really excited to have her on April 14th. And then our last Breaking the Glass Ceiling will be Debbie Coble, so we're really excited to have Debbie Coble as well. And then with that, we want to thank you for attending and being a part of this. And Allie, you want to give out the last prize of the day.
See if it works. All right. She got it to work.
Yay, it's working.
Yay.
April.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Okay. And with that, ladies, thank you very much, and we'll see you at our next program.
Thank you. Thank you so much.